Welcome back, guys. Hello. What's up, Flutter gang? What's up, Flutter family? What's up, Cozy Dev friends? How's everyone doing this new year? How you guys feeling? How you guys doing? Was any of you working on with Flutter? What project are you guys working on Flutter? Side project. Let's just get back. Just need some time to fix some stuff. We're trying to make sure that we got some stuff ready before we actually start streaming. Yeah. So guys, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday or day before yesterday. I don't know what time is it. For for most of you guys. But yesterday we actually did. We started up a project which I called secret app messaging in Flutter. So basically, the project is all about creating kind of like a social media messaging app whereby you can share messages using images and they will be encrypted. So we kind of like encrypt some text inside an image, and the image will be only be reviewed between you and the person that is receiving it. So that's what we are doing right here. So instead of sending a real text, we kind of like encrypt that message, the text message inside an image, and we send it to anybody that wants to send it to. Whoever that receives it can actually decrypt the image and then receive the message that we just encrypted inside the image. It's actually a fun project to work on, and we'll be using crypto graph. We'll be using a package called stenography, because that's basically what the hosting is all about. The art of encrypting messages on an image is called. Let me be sure of this before I give you guys a wrong pronunciation. Stenography. So the actual process of writing a shorthand or transcribing. No. This not. Wait. Okay, it's called steganography. Okay, steganography. Is basically the act of encrypting text inside an image or some stuff like that. Hiding text inside an image, but let's be sure about that. Shall we see? Okay, basically it's not just an image, but basically kind of like an act of, is an art of presenting. I don't know if you guys can see it here. So stenography is the practice of representing information within another message or physical object, such a manner that presents, okay, blah 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 blah. But basically, that's the same idea. We are hiding information inside an image, then basically using that to chat with anybody that I want to chat with. So let's see what we can actually get to. So right now we are at this point where we are creating a server using that. So we are creating a server on the that. We're almost done with that server. Just we need to fix one or two stuff. So we need, so whenever we need this request to kind of like complete this request handler. Over here we have a get request for hello world. When someone hits the hello world endpoint, a get request there. When there's a get request for time, when there gets a get request for info.json and all this. But this is basically from a project I saw online. I've forgotten where I got that, but it's basically from a project where I saw where someone was creating a back end with Flutter. So I just kind of like use that also to actually show you guys the basics. Before I start showing you guys how to use both web sockets inside your HTTP your HTTP server in that. That's what we'll be doing all together today. So let's fix out this handler. I think if you want to handle a post request, there's a way also. Yeah, should have a post handler. Okay, we close this off. We need to open this to be able to do that. Dot post. Okay, there's a post, there's a put, and there's a patch method, HTTP method. So those actually exist. So right now let's go ahead and add these functions. This basically handler that handles the hello world endpoint request and those kind of stuff. And I'm going to copy the code. I'm not gonna write it out like that, just copy it and then we could just talk about it. So I'm gonna paste this under here. So we have this function called hello world handler. It kind of is a type of response that, and this accept a type of response, a function, and this hello world is a type of response, and we're passing it here as a handler, and it accepts a request. So whenever a request, it does a request, basically a get request here, the request is being forwarded into this function to handle, and the request is passed into it, kind of like a callback function. Yeah, actually it's a callback function, I mean to say. So we have response.ok. So basically we return 200 code, which is basically response.ok. That's what it does, and returns this test back to the user, so that the user can actually see what they're requesting on the hello world endpoint. So next handler we need is the info handler. Whenever someone is on the info.json endpoint, we need to return some stuff to the back to the user, and we are using info handler for that. So let's go back down here, show you guys what that does. I'm gonna bring some functions that I'm gonna explain later on. So I'm pasting this code, so we are going to go through it together. So right here we have this function called info handler, and this function is actually being called whenever someone hits this get request endpoint. When someone hits this get request endpoint, which is basically /time, and we are passing a function to it that actually gives us an access to the request type. We are saying response.ok. Okay, no, there's a mistake. So this is basically how we are resolving the time endpoint. Basically we are saying pass a callback function, which kind of like gives us access to the request type the user made, or whoever made that access to this endpoint, and we are responding back by saying response or okay by sending date.time, which is the particular time at the moment, and to UTC, and we are making it a UTC encoding it, basically formatting it to using UTC, and then we send it as a to ISO 860 string, basically sending it in a string format, and the user will see the date in a string format. So that's basically what this is doing, and we're going to test this out later on so you guys can actually see what we did there. Next is the info section. When this is called, we pass in a handler to it, a function, a callback function to handle the request, and right here is the function that does that, and this function is called info handler, and it accepts the parameter is a request type and returns a response, and basically the response is 200 code. So you can actually say response.ok, but that will still be the 200, but here we're just using the response, and we are passing in, and the parameter has been named. It needs a status code, which is in this case we're passing in 200, and an object body, and also a header, which is a type of map. The body is a type of object, and then we have encoding type if you want to encode the encoding type you want, and then we have context if you actually need to do that, pass that one. But basically what we need is the headers and the HTTP headers that I want to do, and then the body I want to actually send back to the user. In this case we are sending the status code 200, and the headers we are using JSON headers, which in this case our JSON header content type is application.json, and we are sending it in here. And we want to control the cache control. We are saying no store, do not store any of these states, or do not store whatever the server sends back to the user in the browser. Do not store it. So that's basically what this cache control, because the browsers kind of have this habit, kind of like this habit that you kind of like cache resources, stuff like that on the browser. And we have this body, and we're encoding in body, so JSON encode function is still another function that basically uses JSON encoder. I need to import this with that convert, and returns a string, because whenever you encode something with a JSON, it actually returns a string to you in form of a string. So that's what we are doing, encode, and we are passing in an object that we want to encode into a string. We are setting a dat version with this function that returns a dat function. So let's look at the function. So the function has a variable called version, which is final, and it calls platform.version. So our next is version dot substring, and this will just basically return the dat version for us, because if you console this, looks like this returns a bunch of tests that are from this location to this location to this end contains our dat version in the test that this thing returns back to us, and we return that, and we are passing that in here as a dat version. And then uptime, basically because whenever the server starts, if you guys could remember, we have a function called watch start that kind of like start watching the uptime of the server until we kind of like kills the server or something like that. So it kind of like start watching the uptime of the server. So over here, when someone makes a call, we can tell the person this server has been running for the past 30 days or the past 50 years or the past 600 years or whatever, or the past 1 minute or the past 2 minutes, that maybe that's when the server has been running. So that has been returned right in here as uptime. And then we have the request count. Also the request count, basically it kind of like updates itself whenever someone makes a request, and this request count is actually an integer. Let's see where else we used it for updating each request. So whenever this is being called to return, so the request count to this info handler, we just increase this by plus, basically adding additional 1 to it. That's basically what this is doing. Let's see what else. Plus the previous request here. Then what else we need to fix? I think yeah. So the next function that's remaining is the sum handler. So let's add a sum handler function also in here, and I'm gonna copy that also. We could just go ahead and explain what we are doing. And we have a function called sum handler. So we have this endpoint whereby you can pass in two numbers that you want to be added together, and this sum handler will just return the total of those two numbers we wanted to add. You can actually go forward to add maybe subtraction, multiplication, endpoints to those. And in here, as we have it right in here, so we get access to the requests, and then we get access to the two tests that has been appended in the request. And over here we are passing them to be a number. And it actually makes sense to use a try catch here, because this will throw an error. Whenever there's an error, it does it throw. So int function on error. So yeah, on error to handle the error, but yeah, it throws an error. It will throw an error. If this is a test, maybe the user mistakenly passing a test right in there. We should have a try catch or something like that to catch the error and tell the user what happened. Maybe they passed in a test of a number or some stuff like that. So that's basically what this is all about, this section right in there. And then after that, we return a response with a 200 status code, which is okay. And we're using the same JSON encode to encode this into a string, and we set the headers using the JSON headers. And the cache control, we are saying public maximum age is this, the maximum age of the cache. So when this expires, just basically release the resources. And is it immutable? So this says it's actually immutable. So this is how all you need to know. You can actually go ahead and read more about the headers, but we are not going to go too deep about it in this section. So that's it. So I think we at a point we can actually run this server and test it out and see what we have right here in front of us, and see what is failing, or what is working, or what is not working. Yeah, I think, let's see, it looks like, yeah, I'm missing something. So we have this index.html. I need to create that too. You can actually do that somewhere. We need to create a public folder. It requires us to create a public folder, and inside a public folder is actually expecting to see HTML index with this spelling, a file with this text or title on it. So first of all, we create a folder, name it public, and inside a public we create a file called index. For everyone who is actually familiar with web development, you already know that the entry point to your HTML or to your web project is actually index.html. No, even if you are using React, is actually the same is, and also Vue.js the same. You use always index.html. Not that you cannot change the name, but it actually makes sense for that to be the entry point. So we have index.html, enter. So in here you can just go ahead and create HTML5, document title. I'll set this to be from that server. There you go. And the body, I'm pretty sure that my HTML skills are actually uptight, because I always practice on a regular basis. So I can go ahead and create a div in here. So return a div, and I will say thanks for making this request. And go ahead, fix this, save. I think we are done. So back to our server. So this actually will be sent whenever someone get kind of first serve files from the public directory. When someone kind of opens our server for the first time in the browser, basically the entry point of our back end is actually going to return a static file, which is in this case an HTML, which should be rendered to the user on their browser for them to actually see. That's basically what that is all about. And to see that, so let's go ahead and save, go to server.bin. So go ahead and set up our server right here, so I can actually start running, or you can go ahead and start testing it. But to do that, we have to go ahead and uncomment this path, because this is a previous server that we have. Since we have a new server, what I'm going to do is going to say await server. We call this secret message main server. So await secret message, then we need that main, underscore server, and this needs to be imported. Secret message main server. I'm gonna repeat this import, and this should be called main underscore server. We are going to export this as this. I'm gonna say as main underscore server. There you go. And I'm gonna say main underscore server dot start server. We call that function. You guys already know where that function is coming from. Lo and behold, it's coming from this our file right here for starting up our server and the whole stuff. So this is basically the function, and we are calling that outside right in here. So once we have this being settled, we go ahead and run this app. So let's go ahead and run our server. Tap on this. Let's see if we have any issues. Okay, yeah, there you go. You can actually see our server is running. It's basically saying it's serving at HTTP 000 port 8080. So we are using port 8080 here. But if you could remember, in the previous server we created, we are using port 4040 in our own case. But this we are using port 8080 with chef. And then we can go ahead and run that in our browser. So open this in your browser, hit enter. You can actually see the HTML that we created, which is saying thanks for making this request. So the HTML has been sent by our that backend. So our server is actually sending that. You guys could remember the HTML file, which is this HTML file. There you go. I could actually go ahead and create another HTML stuff just to flex my HTML skills. My quiz, I think that's what is being called. First two, is it? Okay. HTML tag Macquarie. Yeah, Macquarie. Okay, I misspelled it, so let's see if that's gonna show up here. Okay, this restarted, so let's rerun this. Yeah, there you go. So there you can actually see the Macquarie kind of like stuff. Basically, the Macquarie is kind of like a horizontal slider that is automatically sliding through the screen. So that's basically what this is all about. I'm just flexing my HTML skills. That's nothing more there. So once we have that, let's go back to our DAT and see what we can actually do with our server. Let's try to make a request to hello world and see what is being returned back to us. So we have this endpoint called hello world. If you hit that endpoint slash hello world, always be careful with the double slash. We don't need the double slash, and then hit enter, and we have the test hello world returned back to us. That's cool. And if you hit the endpoint time, go ahead and say time. You can actually see the time returned in ISOL string format before I pronounce something else. Next, if you hit the endpoint info.json, it will basically return the information about the current system where the server is running and all those stuff. You can actually see that in a JSON format. The that version is being returned, uptime version of our server, request count so far. If you rerun this again, the request count changes to 2, rerun again, it changes to 3, rerun again, it changes to 4. So that's basically it. Next, if you make a request to the sum endpoint, let's see how that works. So the sum endpoint, we just want to calculate the sum of two numbers, and that will be, we want to add 5 plus 6. Let's see that, and that's give us 11. 5 plus 6 is actually 11, and we are adding, the first number is 5, the second number is 6, and the sum is 11. Basically, that's cool. Let's say 5 plus 10 enter, and that will return 15, 10, and 5. So that's basically a nice one, so that's cool. What we did here, we just created a server using that programming language, and it's actually pretty fast and fun to work with, and nothing much there. It wasn't that complicated or hard, but right now we want to be able to use that in our Flutter app. So the first thing, we want to be able to send a message using our WebSocket, and we want to actually return a message back using our WebSocket also. So let's go ahead and try that. And in this case, I actually have to run this app into simultaneous simulator. So we have a second simulator right here, but let's do the testing first, right, in this first one. I'm going to minimize the server at the moment, open up our Flutter app. So this is our Flutter app. Scroll all the way to share screen. What we want is when someone taps on the what did it do? Okay, yeah, when someone taps on the test input button here, we just want to send a message and actually receive a message back within our app. So to do that, I will say let's try some stuff. Before we start, let's install WebSocket handler, WebSocket clients in our Flutter app to help us to actually work with WebSockets in our Flutter app. So let's go ahead and install that. We actually need that that package. If we don't have it, it's not going to be enough stuff we can actually do. So I'm going to say Flutter pub add WebSocket channel. We need it, so go ahead and install peacefully. Okay, looks like the installation is done with. There you go. Next, we're going to start initializing it at the top of our file, and then start working with our WebSocket that we just installed. All those stuff. So let's go ahead and see what this actually looks like. So we gonna say we have over here, I'm gonna create a variable called date. It's gonna be IO WebSocket channel, and I'm gonna name this to be called channel. This will be automatically imported right here at the top, and with that, save. And next, I'm gonna have an init state. Create an init state where we need to initialize our WebSocket. First of all, is always very important. And I'm going to create another function below it, and this function is going to be of type void. It doesn't return anything, just run. We call that connect to server. Basically connect to our server using WebSocket to actually talk with our server and respond back to the good people that's actually listening on the other end, which is me right here. I'm one of the good people. So we need a try cache, not try cache, but try cache. I'm not trying to crash anything, so I'm gonna say try cache, and for now I'm gonna basically go ahead and log any error that we have. There you go. But this needs to be passed into a string format. E.to string can't be assigned to the parameter of type num. Interesting. What does it mean, num? Oh, this is actually using log that accepts a number. Where did it actually come from? It's a double and returns. Oh, we are using a math function. This thought we are trying to use a math function. No, we are not trying to use a math function. So let's re-import this. This should be important for developer. That's developer, not a math function, which accepts a string. So that's cool, much better. We have the log statement to log any error with cache or some stuff like that. Next stuff we can actually go ahead and work on in this case is basically trying to say, give me a second, guys. Let's see. I'm thinking of. Okay. Okay, so we have this try cache, and inside our try cache we're going to basically initialize our WebSocket. So this how to do that, because we say that our channel is actually late type, which is going to basically saying this is going to be assigned later on down the lane. It should be marked late and not actually, yeah, marked late. Because if you don't do that, that will not work. It's actually that Flutter will complain that you need to actually assign this variable. So let's say we remove that late keyword. You see, saying that this should be initialized, but we mark it to be late, meaning that we're going to initialize later on, and we're going to basically say is equals to io web channel.connect. We gonna pass using URL dot pass in here. I'm gonna copy and paste what this should look like, the URL. So I say WebSocket WS stands for WebSocket column / localhost, and we are listening to port 8080 because that's already where we know our server will be based at or be living. We at the end, I'm appending this, then go ahead and cap this off, and next underneath it we are going to say channel dot stream. We are going to listen to any stream changes dot listen, and this is going to pass an event back to us. I prefer marking this to be okay, just leave it this way, cap this off, and go ahead and log this out. I'm going to say log received info right here. There you go. We log that out, and then we also need to log whatever we received. In this case, inside our event, cap that off also. I don't think there's any other stuff we need to do. Basically, we need to call this function inside our init state. Very, very important. And once we have that working, next we need to be able to use that. So inside our input field, why is it not opening? Keyboard toggle software keyboard. That's interesting. Yeah, okay, we will just want to be able to toggle the keyboard. We basically sometimes actually have this issue with your simulator to actually be able to bring the keyboard up again. Just go back to this section and then tap on this, and then either disable connect hardware keyboard, because if you enable this, that means it will actually listen to every event on your keyboard, on your own computer keyboard, and not toggle the software keyboard, which is basically our simulator keyboard or iPhone keyboard. So that's basically what it's all about. And then you can actually toggle this one to toggle the software keyboard on and off. So it still depends, but now I'm going to basically say do not connect to my own hardware, my own computer keyboard, just listen to this keyboard. So once we tap on this one, just want to send a message. This is basically this section. Let's see. Okay, I think this should be it. It didn't actually go away. Are we actually on the right track? Should be inside our test input. Okay, test form field. So I said our test form. Okay, here we go. This is basically it. I'm basically going to wrap this with a gesture detector, so I can actually be able to determine whenever someone taps on it. That's what we are wrapping with a gesture detector. Nothing much. Basically in here, I'm going to say when someone taps on you, I want you to send a message that's been typed in inside our keyboard or some stuff like that, to anybody that's listening. And this is how you do it. So I'm going to say channel dot sync dot add. Over here we're just going to add code a message just for testing. Say message here. Go ahead and save. Let's give this a try. We should be able to console log it out right here underneath here, so I can actually see what is going on. So if I go ahead and tap on this button, we should be able to send a message, and there you go. You can actually see received message here. We sent a message and we received it. We sent a message to the server, and the server forwarded it to anybody that's listening using the WebSocket, and we were able to receive it in our app right in here. So that's cool. That's actually great. So in this case, but we want to be able to kind of show the message right here. So to fix that, what we need to do is basically go ahead and say right at the top, we want to be sending a message in this form and actually receive it also in this form, and then append it to whatever we have right at the top. But how do we make sure that this is me or is not me is available to our message? Because if you keep on doing that, that means anybody that's sending a message, you have this is me or it's not me property. To do that, I'm going to say whenever we receive a message right in here and the ID is actually matching to the current user ID, go ahead and mark it to be is me. But how do we actually get the ID? That's another question. So go to the terminal. We are going to install another package that will help us to generate ID for our user. So each user will have a unique ID. Whenever you open the app or restart the app, the ID will change, some stuff like that. So that is the idea behind it. And this package, I will show you guys where you can actually get it. It's in pub/spec.dev, and the package is called URID. Most of you that's coming from other programming languages or platform, we already have heard about this URID. We have it in React Native, Vue, JavaScript, TypeScript, JavaScript, and some other languages have their own form. So we have URID right in there. So the package we use is going to basically generate a version 1 UID, version 2, version 4, and so many other stuff. So that's what we are going to be using. This is how to actually use it right in here. So I'm gonna say at the top, this should be final my UID, my chat ID, that's what I'm gonna call it, is equals to this. Oh, we didn't install it, so first of all let's install it. Flutter pub add, install the UID package, and once that is installed, then we can start using it. Is equals to UID equals to UUID like this, and then dot version 1 or version 4 ID, depending on the one. Either we want it to be in this form or use the version 4 ID, but we could just go ahead and use the version 4. I prefer that. So you say version 4, cap this off, and this prefer to be a constant constructor. We are going to just assign it to this variable called final right in there. Can we actually make this to be constant also? Oh, we're not gonna have a problem. So yeah, get it that way. So my chat ID, so that's what we'll be using to determine who sent the message and who should be the receiver of the message. So over here underneath this section, I'm basically gonna say whenever someone sends a message, log received. I'm gonna create an object in this form, and this should be in this. Okay, we don't need to create the object, or do we? So basically the sender of the message should have an ID attached to it, and then the message, text, and whatever it should be, and then from there we can determine it's me or it's not me or whatever. So right in here I'm going to create another JSON object in this another map object in this way. I'm going to say this should be final new message is equals to this. Cap this off. There you go. And this should be determined if whatever is being passed in here, the JSON, if the ID is actually equals to the ID that's me that sent it at the moment, then that becomes the message sent by me, else I'm not the one that sent the message. So for us to actually get this to work, within our text input field, there you go, within our text input field, we need to create an object here, a map type. I'm gonna call this final message is equals to this, and this here we are going to have an ID. An ID is basically going to be basically my ID, my short ID, that's it. And then we have something called message is going to be whatever has been typed in inside our text form field right in here, but we don't have access to whatever has been typed in inside our text form field, which is a bit not okay, kind of not okay at the moment. So we want to have access to that text form field, and we don't want to use the onChange function, because onChange function we don't want to be calling set every single time. One way to fix this is to use our controller. So we need to create a text controller at the top right here. I'm gonna call this to be text editing controller is equals to controller, which is equals to text editing controller. Cap that off. Okay, yeah, requires we make it final. There you go. And we can just make use of this controller to be able to access whatever we type in inside our text form field, and this requires a controller. So whenever we want to send a message, we can get access to it by saying controller.text, give us this text back, and this is what we are going to be sending out to our server. It's actually good to remind you guys we have to encode this also. So to encode this, I'm going to call basically I'm going to say channel sync then JSON encode our message object, and there you go, to send it to our server, and our server will still receive it and forward it back to anybody that's listening. So this is our object. So right there at the top, we already know there's something called an ID and there's something called a message. So we could go up right at the top right here, and whenever we receive an event, I'm gonna say final decode event is equals to JSON decode event. And then whenever that is being decoded, we could be less assured that we could get our ID from there. We could just say decode event should have something like this, our ID, and then the message should be coming from decode event like this, and then we have a part of it that's called message. Let's be sure. Yeah, this is the spelling. Don't want to make a mistake there. Copy down and use that somewhere right in here. Now we're able to create that, but we need to be able to append that inside our messages lists or stuff like that. So we need to append it right in here. So I'm gonna say messages dot add new message and close that. Also remind you guys we actually need to call set state, so I can actually update whatever is listed for our state to change. So with this being implemented, let's restart our app and then go ahead and try this out. So open this. I'm gonna say hello, it's me, and then hit the send. You can actually see that has been sent. Nice one. You can actually see hello friends here. Okay, that's a mistake. It shouldn't say hello friends here. It should say hello it's me. We should be able to have hello it's me and not hello friends here. So something must be wrong somewhere. So let's figure that out. So we already have an ID. It's me is false. Okay, that's cool. Message type is this. Decode events is basically this right in here. You can get access to the message, and this how this is being returned to us. Then we are updating our arrays of messages. We are appending a new object to it. Okay, let's see where we are having these changes. Blog. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, we actually console are logging at the message that has been sent. That means this is actually working as we expect. But now the issue we are having is that when we try to pass in, so the string dynamic, we have the string dynamic. So when we call save, okay, some stuff is mixed up. Yes, we have message, message is me dot to list messages dot map. Okay, chat bubble or whatever it is. So again, that same issue that says is friends. 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. That have been 6. No, 1 2 3 4 5 6, so it's having 6. We are trying to debug some errors that we are currently having right now. See how we actually need to debug, get this to work. So an array of messages we currently have hard coded right in here at the top, and we're saying whenever we receive a message, create a new variable of type a map, and we create this way, and then we pass it in here as messages dot add new message, and then we call set state to update whatever is actually list to update our state. That basically building our UI by calling that set states, and our UI right here that's actually using the messages right in here. So we have messages dot map chat bubble element dot message, and it's me, okay, dot to list. Let's try to take some stuff, so let's try this stuff here. So that's basically how to escape a character, because we're having character escaping issues. So to escape it, just use forward backslash to escape it here. So let's try this. Okay, so the issue is actually actually from here. So we're having the issues from here because you could see that this is repeating the same stuff that we have. Hello friends, it's me. I'm not adding this to it, so this is actually been recognized right there. Well, let's say I move this to the top. We have hello friends is me, hello friends is me, hello friends is me, hello friends is me, hello friends here. And where did we? Oh, we had actually the one causing the issue, so we had coded this right in here. Come on. That's very terrible. I'm actually sad about myself right now. So how do we actually missed this? We actually have this hard coded here. Looking through our app to see where we actually introduce the bug or stuff like that, whereby we already did something wrong right here. So this should be dynamically updated by itself and not hard coded. So to fix that, I'm going to remove the constant from the test. Basically I'm going to use the message right here as a property, then with a comma, and this should be constant because it's not changing. Okay, that's much better. And there you go, you can actually see that being changed. So every single one of them is not changing. So we could just go back, remove this at the top, and remove this at the bottom. We don't need both of them again. Save, and then restart our app. Now we could go ahead and type a message. So I'm gonna say thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Send, and you can actually see this has been sent, and it's been marked is not me. So right here said it's me, it's false, so that's why it's been appended to the right hand side, because it said at least the message is not coming from me, but that's not true. The message is actually coming from me. To fix this, we're gonna do something like decode event.id. If this is equals to what we have here, my chat ID, if it's true, go ahead and set this to be true, else go and set it to be false. So if you go ahead and restart, save it right now and restart our app. So let's go ahead and send another message. So I'm gonna say thanks, send, and because it's now is from me, it's been appended to this end. But if you want to test this out, so I'm gonna open another chat. Where is it? Basically another simulator, and connect it to our app so I can actually have two phones. So after this, we are going to implement the messaging part, the image part, where we can actually send images with someone and decrypt the hidden message within the image. So this is just for testing some stuff. After this, we just work on the image part. But before we go forward, we need to be able to clear our input field whenever we send a message. It is actually bad way to leave the input field with the previous message. So to fix that issue, we should just run this app again over here and just fix that. It's not a big fix, it's just some few one line of code we need to add. So I'm gonna say whenever we send the message, go ahead and run. Just wait for this to actually finish up before we do any other stuff. I don't know why it's taking time. Okay, yeah, we're good to go. So go back and say controller, which is a private field dot clear. So you can actually clear it using this function called clear. You just clear our input field and it will just be empty. If you want to try that out, just type something thanks, send, and you see our input field is now clear, so nothing is inside there again. So that means it's working. And I'm going to stop this from running and open it in our second simulator, which in this case is iPhone 13 Pro. Go ahead and run this app. And we need to actually give it some time to actually be able to run here. It's actually quite amazing how many stuff I have opened up in my current in my laptop, and it's not actually draining the RAM or something like that. So right here, so I'm gonna send, so this will be listening and this will be listening too. So I'm gonna send a message by saying, what's up, Blue? What's up? What's up, Blue? Just basically brother, send. This says what's up, brother, and this should actually listen to receive the event, but it didn't receive the event, so that's quite strange. So how things stopped. What's up, brother? Hello, brother. Okay, this here, this is actually showing up right here. Okay, so none of them is actually receiving the new events that we actually sent forward. Okay, let's see why that is the case. So we have chat stream now listen. stream.listen for any event that comes to it, and right in here when we want to send a message, so we're saying sync.add, okay, channel sync.add to send over to the server. Okay, let's actually go through this. We have our server right here, which basically will be receiving events. So when we have WebSocket handler, WebSocket channel, WebSocket.stream, listen, okay, listen for messages that comes in. Then we call WebSocket sync.add to add a message. And I have log. Okay guys, looks like we hit we hit a bug right now, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong here to see actually how to fix this. Come on. Okay, let's try. I should be able to see a console log statement right here in the server when we send something, or even a print statement should be able to print some stuff. Okay, let's go on. Hello, or just say hey. Yeah, so that's actually being received by the server, because actually confirm it here. Our server right in here is printing out the message as ID, stuff like that on the screen. So that means our server is getting a message, and also the current app that's running is getting the message, but this app is not getting the message. So that's stuff that's strange. So what we want to do is to be able to have both of them listen and actually get any email message that's been sent across them. So connect channel stream listen event. Okay, log received, new message. Okay, it's been received, has been updated. This is still not having any updates on it, so we'll actually be able to fix this on time. So let's go back to the backend again. Right here, the backend. Yeah, you receive the message, forwarded it to our clients, which is actually right here, restoring to it also. Let's actually try to see if this is actually forwarding a message, and whatever message we are receiving here is actually coming from the back end. I will just modify this from the back end. I will say modify this instead of sending back this message. Whenever someone types some stuff, I will go ahead and send some stuff like this, maybe hard-coded stuff back to it, and see if it's breaking, it's going to break our app or not. If that happens, so that means it's actually receiving its message from the back end. Go ahead and restart. And go ahead and restart. Then go ahead and send. You see, nothing is showing up. Yeah, nothing is showing up on the screen because it's not actually receiving any message. So that means because this is actually breaking at the back end. It says ID, it says okay, invalid agreement, asynchronous error. Okay, I get that. But let's see if this is going to pass. If I use JSON, encode this object and then try to sync it. Okay, let's go ahead and do this again. Yeah, so this has been logged. It saves, and it should send it back to us. And it's actually receiving it. Like I see here, it's been received within. Okay, this is the server console logging this, and within our app, yeah, it's been received within our app also. That's cool. You can actually see that showing up here. So that means the message is actually coming from the backend. So that's all I needed to know. So we need to figure out why is the other app not responding to the same event that's been emitted from the server. Is it because it's not running on the same, should be listening to the same local host? Let's send a message from there. And this is not actually showing up on the server, so the server is not showing that this is actually sending a message to it, because whenever I send a message to the server, we should be able to actually see it show up here. So if you go ahead and type again and send, it's not been updated right here. And if you use the current app that we're using and send any message of sorts, okay, that we have an issue right now. Okay, yeah, so the server received the message that we sent, and I acknowledge that sent some stuff, and our front end received it back. And if you go over here, you can actually try this one again to make sure that it's actually working. Yeah, again, that received it, VVV, and it shows up on our front end that I actually received it, and also on our back end it shows up that I received the VVV also on our back end. And then in the other app, let's try something like multiple S sender. So nothing works. It doesn't show up here. Okay. So the server is not even acknowledging that this is actually sending stuff. Z send. Nothing still happens. SSS send. K send. Still not actually having any changes, so that means something is wrong. So I'm gonna stop running on the second simulator, stop running, and start running here to actually see if basically to see what's going on, see what we can actually do in that case. Or maybe when we stop running, it's no longer connected on the same local host to listen to any changes. I think that might be the case here, but let's see. So iPhone 14 Pro Max, run on this. Let's go ahead and select run debugging. What do you guys think is going on? Have any thoughts on why we are having that issue? Okay, so we have a no, looks like I broke somewhere. So error ports, socket exception, connection refuse, address equals to localhost port, stop. Okay, he's having an issue with connecting to a port. Run on port 8080 and this. Our port connection is 8080, so having this connection issues with WebSocket. Let's run this again. Select iPhone 14 Pro Max, run. If we have that error again, we're just going to look it up and see why we are having it. Okay, we still have the same error, and I'm going to copy it out, and then we're going to call this connecting Visual Services to Arts 5. Copy this. I'm going to run this on the previous simulator and see if it's going to run. Also, iPhone 14, iPhone 13 Pro. Start debugging. Okay, we still have the same, we encounter the same issues again. WebSocket exception error. Okay, let's make use of our browser and see if we can actually find some information that we need. No, it should be on that. Flutter, so the error is from Flutter. So basically that's one way to search and narrow down your searches. Let's see, you guys gonna suggest, so if someone else had the same issues with Flutter. Okay, this person now they have Flutter on 100 exception, socket exception, OS error, connection refused. I'm attempting to get a Flutter app made in Android Studios, some sort of stuff. Okay, port broken on the server. Looks like we need to use some course on our Chef browser, on our Chef server. So let's actually see how we can actually implement course. So one of the issues they suggested is that maybe the port has been blocked from our server, which is basically also relates to course issues or something like that. Okay. So I have localhost search 808080, and over here this is giving us this. Looks like we just need to copy this section and then use that in place of whatever we have here. We should be able to connect, not multiple, yeah, just single. Okay, there you go, // okay, dash 8080. That's still the same, pointing to the same resources. Restart, I still have the same broken effect. We don't need headers in this case since we are sending between WebSockets. We're still getting the same dreaded message. I'm trying to figure out how we can actually do this. Let's think about the course issues that we saw. Okay, course chef. Okay, I'm trying to see how we can actually add a course handler to our chef. Yeah, our chef server. So see set handler with every request that comes in. We are seeing app handler for what we created at the top. Well, why did we actually start getting this error right now and we didn't get it before? When we started using the app and all of a sudden we started having it. So I'm gonna say Flutter Cascade. Um, it's actually hard to get it to actually see how they have been using the course with Cascade, because right here we are using Cascade for Andra, and to add a course on it is actually where I'm trying to get to work. But since router.get for every get request, that's okay, not this for router. Okay, let's try this, see if this solves our issue. So we're gonna install this, see how we can actually make use of this. How come it just starts working? This is strange. That's interesting. How come did it just starts working? And maybe we got our server down, and that's why it wasn't able to connect, because the error was basically it couldn't connect to that particular URL we are passing to it. I'm gonna go back and reverse whatever I changed in here. I'll still leave it to localhost and try again. Let's see if that's going to work. So I have localhost 8080/ws. Restart. Restart. Okay, that worked. And this is still working. Let's restart it again. Device 13 Pro Max. Okay, that's connected. I hope so. So let's start again. Yeah, and our server is still up and running. So let's try sending some stuff for you. Send. Okay, and the server received it for you, and also our app received it for you, and that's why we're able to show it here for you. I'm gonna go ahead and start running this. Run this on iPhone 14 Pro Max, the second simulator, and see what we got. So go ahead and run without debugging. So you currently have it running here, and our server is still running. Okay, there you go. So let's send a message. Okay, it's been received. Server received it. And this didn't receive it. Okay, I guess yeah, the reason, because this is actually connecting to, you can actually see this statement here, connecting to VM service at WS 12700 dot okay, not this one. Okay, not the message, but basically the issue is because this is not running on the same local host. I think that's the reason why we're having this issue. That's the reason why we are having this issue. Yeah, I think that's because our app, this one, is being disconnected immediately from the local host and is not connected to the local host. So we are having these issues at the moment. So I'm trying to see if there's a way we can actually connect them, both of them are together, and run them using local host together. And that way I think we should be able to see them, see how this is actually working. But for some reason, or we can actually take this and host it, maybe take our backend and host it somewhere else. Also that will still work, but we are not going to do that today. But I'm trying to see what way we can actually do this so that we can be able to try both sending a message and then receiving the message right in here. And let's open our browser. Okay, let's just use something. Test, say test WebSocket. Okay, because this is still restarting, still connected. Yeah, let's see if there's a service where we can actually connect to our WebSocket localhost and then test it. I hope if this will actually work, if this will actually connect to our localhost server. Let's see if this works. Okay, bookmark this URL. Okay, we received it. Send the message to our WebSocket, which was actually received. Let's go ahead and send again. backend actually received it. Our WebSocket backend is still receiving the messages, but our front end is not actually listening. I don't know why it's not receiving it on its own end. Should be listening for events and actually receiving events, but for some reason, say WebSocket connect. Okay, channel.stream.listen for every changes that comes in. Log received info, and go ahead and decode this and write in here. When something comes in, go ahead and where is it again? Receive from client, log, print, and then send it back. So we're currently having an issue because we were able to determine and figure out our WebSocket is actually our backend is actually receiving the messages that we are sending, but it's receiving the message, but our front end clients is actually one of our front end client is actually being able to listen to it whenever the changes comes in, and that still goes here. So you can actually go ahead and change this again to send this. It's been sent, received right here. This didn't actually receive any resources, and we want to check that out, and there is one way to do that. Open over here WebSocket channel whatever, and okay, WebSocket channel, and connect to and whenever something has been received, the stream will listen to it. If you want to close the stream, we can actually go ahead and close the stream by saying channel.sync.close, but we don't want to close the stream. If you ask me, I think the issue is that Rootstack is not broadcasting to all available listeners or some stuff like that. Trying to see what we can actually get here. So I'm going to use this Chef WebSocket to understand a bit how they implement this. Okay, open this up. let's see if there's, okay, that should be under Flutter, so you can actually get answers regarding Flutter. Okay, let's see if we can actually set the ping stuff. So there's another param. So let's see the ping parameter was all about. So we have duration to ping. May I think continuously ping our backend connects to URL using WebSocket. Let's connect and it was a channel. Okay, ping it and control the interval for sending ping signals. If a ping message is not answered by pong message okay from the peer, the WebSocket is assumed disconnected and the connection is closed with going away code. When a ping signal is sent, the pong message must be received within ping interval. It was not indicating that ping message are disabled as an error connection. Okay, let's try this. But that's if that is actually stuff we need. Let's see what it does. So it requires a duration object to be passed to it, and it should be constant. We should say seconds, should be every okay, 1 second, every 1 second. Go ahead and ping on every 1 second. Okay, gonna send another stuff. Okay, that's still not working. have another try to do. So let's try this. I'm gonna install another package for actually working with WebSocket and see which one is much better. So over here, let's say WebSocket, no, Socket. So the second one is actually Socket. It's called Socket. Yeah, socket.io.client. Okay, so let's go ahead and install this and try it out and see if this works much better. So I'll pop add socket IO client. Okay, there you go. And right in here, we just need to import this. Once we got that imported, so just go ahead and set this up and actually try and see if something works. So in here, still the same function where we are trying to say connect to server. At the top here, I will just add this, the second web socket that we're trying to use. So basically print if something happens, okay, and emit this. Basically do not emit any stuff, just listen. So just cross check if we got this working. Should be under, say, http localhost 8080. And there you go. And let's go ahead and restart. Okay, so we have this second socket added. I doubt this will actually receive any information. Nope. Okay, let's try this. append that to the end, and then restart our app. Still no connections. It didn't establish any connection, because if it did establish a connection, we should be able to get some response in here where we are saying socket dot on connect. So whenever it kind of like establish connection is established, should response should see connected, disconnected, flags, IDs. Okay, let's also have this one. If there's an error, go ahead and give us whatever it is. Let's see if there's another function we can actually find useful. So open, send it. We don't need this. On error, we already have on error. On disconnect, on connect, on close, on reconnecting. Okay, on any events, so go ahead and return. Just trying to see what we have in here. Reasons for any event. Whenever there's an any event that comes on, go ahead and return. Choose one of these, should be able to help us debug whatever is happening to our socket. So this is socket dot on disconnect. Maybe you can actually have on disconnect to watch if it's been disconnected. On close, okay, let's try these few that we already at listed right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and restart our app. Try sending a message. Okay, we got one. It says connect. Where did that actually happen? So connect any over here. Next one, where else? Connect. Where do we actually have a many connect? So we have only two. Okay, 1 and 2. Restart. Okay, let's go ahead and send a message. Connect any. Okay. Okay, and connect any is called again. Okay, means that's actually responding. Okay, that's much better. Let's see, you can actually print out data from here. Whatever has been returned, I will say print event, and also say print the data that has actually been returned. I think that actually makes sense. So we have data And now we go ahead and save. Restart. Okay. Yeah, we just go ahead and restart this and try again. So we say okay. Connect error timeout. Connect error and timeout. Okay, there's a connection error, so that's why it started once there's an error. Interesting. Okay, error. Okay, we're still having the connection timeout error. Okay, so that's throws it off. It's not a string, so it requires a string where we're passing on http/localhost port 8080. And this can actually connect and tell us that 404 not found, only WebSocket connection are supported. Okay, and this is no WebSocket connection, so that's actually correct. And over here, WebSocket connection slash, but you should connect, but for some reason, this is not actually establishing any connection, which is strange. Okay, let's try this option whereby we build it by ourselves and see if this one kind of like creates any changes. Events can be connect, event, connect error, event, connect timeout, connecting. So these are events we can actually receive on connect. So we just go ahead and comment this out. Since we are trying another method to see if this method works. This is 8080, so 8080, that's our port. So we still want to listen to any stuff that comes on. Connection. And then we need another print statement to listen to event. Yeah, we have another one, print statement to listen to data. I think that's all. When there's any event, so it listens to any event and tell us whatever comes on board. We're gonna go ahead and restart this. Hopefully we could be able to establish this time around. Still the same connection error and connection timeout. Restart again. Yeah, still the same timeout. It's basically not connecting to our server. That's what I'm kind of like found out. Still the same connection timeout. Okay. Um, Okay, let's try and see if we can find something. You can't connect the server to socket server or Flutter with insecure HTTP connections. The HTTP connections are disabled by default on iOS and Android. So here's a workaround for this issue. Okay, can I suggest we set NS transport security? Let's try this. That should be under our iOS folder. And our runner inside our info.p list. Hopefully we don't have that set already. NS should be what again? NS allow. Okay, nothing like that has been set up already. Let's go ahead and add this. So you have the key, which is NS transport security. The value is a dictionary, which we added right now. Go ahead and close the app, restart it, and save. Okay, we have that added. What else do we need to know? Try to see if there's something else I'm missing. Why? Okay, that we already did something like that. The client. Okay, looks like we are not the only one getting the error here, guys. I have a problem with server connection when I run my code in local via Node.js. Works as it should, but when I transfer it to the server, I can't connect and I get error like WebSocket exception connection. Okay, not. It's kind of similar to what we're having. Socket IO on background. Socket client is not emitting inside compute method in Flutter. How to define target network. Okay, it's gonna disconnect when I send small file to my server node. WebSocket is now updating data in Flutter web facing parameter codation. WebSocket exception, socket exception, disconnect Flutter web, not connect, working on version. Okay, reconnecting events is not triggered. How to trigger an event. Okay, most of this is kind of related to what we are having, the issue we are having, but since we kind of like follow some fix, let's try it out and see if it's actually been fixed or we are still going to have the same problem. But let's see. Still the same issue, connection error, timeout. We have another one, connection error, timeout. Still the same issues we have been receiving. Still connection error, timeout. Okay, since this is still having problems, basically trying to revert back to the previous one. We have WebSocket channel, inside on the back end we are still using WebSocket channel. Okay, interesting. And the type is WebSocket channel. Okay, since we currently have this, so since we reverted back to the previous one we had, and the issue we are having with the previous one is we can't race into any other changes that is coming from any other output feed or events like that. And if you open up the second simulator and type some stuff in, okay, okay, it's connected, that's resting. Okay, Yeah, I actually know that that will cause an error, and just try that out to see what we can actually get. Okay, since we are still having issues with this, try to see how we can actually solve it, but we didn't get a clue at the moment. Need to check back later on. But what we could actually do is go ahead and implement the image message hiding in our image, so which is actually main part of the app that we are working on. Until we're able to try able to get a way to actually solve this, we could just work on that. But for now, so let's go ahead and install a package that will help us to hide messages in an image, that whenever we send it and taps on the image, we can be able to review the message we hide underneath the image. So one way to do that, there's a package we're going to install, and the package is called stanography. Let's get that. I'm gonna share the package with you guys, don't worry. I'm gonna show you guys what package we'll be using for that. Steganography, and here is the package. I think I've showed you guys before. No, Flutter. And someone was able to actually build this with Flutter, which is actually great. Yeah, this one right here. This one I tried and it came out good and better. Wait, okay. No, not this. Okay, let's go ahead and use the package. Yeah, this is how to install it. So I'm gonna run Flutter pub add, and there you go. And we got ourselves a package installed, and we could just go ahead and start implementing this. But before we go forward, we need to add another package that will actually help us to pick image, because we need to be able to pick image from our Flutter app and process it. So I'm gonna say Flutter pub add image picker, and not only we are going to pick an image, we also need to get access to image paths in our Flutter file. Go ahead and paste path provider. So install these two extra packages, and once this is done, don't think there's any other stuff we're missing. Now I'm gonna go ahead and run this. Yeah, restart our app. So let's go ahead and start using this. Nope. I can actually take a look over here to see the package that's been installed. Yeah, so this is the package I was trying to install. Now we found it. So it's called Steganography. Basically a library supports hiding messages and files inside images with an option to encrypt embedded secret for more security. So here we go. So this is basically how we can actually go ahead and use it. So scenography.encode, and with this we can actually encode. We pass down an image that we want to encode something to, the message, and then the output file paths that we are going to get after encoding this. To see that in action, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. First of all, I will open up over here, and we need to create another function. It's actually very important that we actually have a function to dispose. I forgot to add a dispose function to dispose our controller dot dispose. There you go. And once we did that, if there's any other stuff controller or any other resources we want to dispose, we can just dispose it off here. Why that is done. So next I'm going to create a function which is our type future, returns void, no, not here, but in here, returns void, and we're gonna call this pick and send. So that's the name of the function. Basically picks an image and sends out the image. Yeah, we have this function called pick and send that we just created. Still inside that function. Go more forward. So within here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say final x file we need to import this. Should be optional, but we need to import it. Okay, I would say this should be equals to weight our image picker, which we are going to create at the top over here. The image picker, just underscore picker, and equals to image. There you go. Cap that off to close it. And once we have that closed, I'm gonna say call this to be asynchronous is equals to so the image that we picked is equals to await picker dot pick image. So we installed these two packages, but it's not yet been recognized within our app, so I need to run this. Okay, we're going to stop here since YouTube is actually suspending my stream. I don't know why, I don't know the reason, but we're going to stop and we are going to continue tomorrow. Yeah, trying to see, I will actually try to look into this and see why we're having issues with the streams, not with the stream, basically why we're having issue with the WebSocket and why it's not actually connecting. I'm gonna look into that and see what we can actually do about that, see how to fix it. Hopefully in our next stream we should be able to complete this project and get it done. Yeah. Okay, yeah, guys, thank you for joining. See you guys in our next stream, which should be probably tomorrow. Hoping so tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Have a